On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, the Oklahoma City Thunder display grit and guts against the Indiana Pacers.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, media member and beat writer for Thunder on SI, Rylan Stiles. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, brought to you by FanDuel, we're diving into the Thunder's gritty overtime win against the Indiana Pacers in this ball game. We're going to see the Thunder have another 2-0 start to this season, with SGA setting a career high, AJay Mitchell stepping up big, and Aaron Wiggins was able to have himself a night off the spot start as well. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head over to FanDuel.com to get started right now. We'll be joined by Brendan Rahbar at some point on this show, but in the meantime, you look at this game. No Jalen Williams, no Isaiah Joe, no Alex Caruso, no Cason Wallace, no Nikola Topic, no Kenrich Williams, no Thomas Schwarber, and they just came off of an emotional double overtime win against the Houston Rockets in a game that saw ring night, banner night, and a lot of exhaustion, a lot of exertion in that contest. This was a final rematch that, despite the changes on both sides, I just laid out for you who is out for OKC. Indiana missing Therese Halliburton, missing Miles Turner, missing TJ McConnell, and of course Turner, going to Milwaukee this offseason. This was still an emotionally charged game. These two teams wanted to beat each other. These two teams are linked together forever because of their final history last June, and the crowd was really into it. It created a great atmosphere for this game. As Brendan Rahbar joining us now for however long his internet lets it happen, Brandon from DailyThunder.com, 1077 The Franchise, Thunder Roundtable, and the OKC Dream Team. Brandon, this was a gutsy win from OKC. 19 lead changes, 18 ties. The biggest lead was 7 points in the Thunder's direction, 5 points in the Pacers' direction. They played this game really tight throughout, and that's what helped the Thunder get a 141-135 double overtime win in Indiana. The Thunder actually win the rebounding battle by 5, but the turnovers were dead even at 14. And that has to be addressed, more adversity to fight through for OKC, a team that was already battling the injuries that we talked about. But another bad shooting night for OKC, 45, 28, 88, their shooting splits. Indiana, though, shot 43, 30, 75. So this is 2 straight games where the Thunder have shot poorly from 3. However, they've also forced their matchup to shoot poorly from 3. We'll talk about if there's any concern over that 3-point shooting coming up. But the Thunder had to invent a way to win this game, because we talked about how surprisingly they won the rebounding battle, and even more surprisingly, they tied in the turnover battle. And then we get to even more unusual conduct. The Thunder lose the points in the paint. They usually dominate. They lose second chance points. That's normal. But they lose fast break points by 10, a margin that is typically a 10-point or better margin for OKC's direction in transition. And yet, they hung around this game. They never let go of the rope. And because they're the deepest, most talented team in the NBA, they eventually figured it out and found a way to win. And I think that this continues to back that claim up. You can take away the all-NBA forward. You can take away 3 of the 5 best defenders on this roster. You can take away their only true sharp shooter. And yet they start 2-0 and get 2 thrilling double overtime wins, Brandon. Like, what did you make of this win from Oklahoma City?
I think you said it perfectly. They found a way to win without Jada, without Caruso, without Wallace, without Isaiah Joe. They just find different ways to win. Tonight, it was going to the free throw line. It was AJay Mitchell. It was Aaron Wiggins. It was playing physical. It's just finding a way. Guys stepping up. A guy like AJay Mitchell, who wasn't even in the playoff rotation because he came back from toe surgery, he was dominant tonight. He was great tonight. Career high, obviously, 26 points. Aaron Wiggins stepped up big time tonight. Shai found a way to break his career high by scoring 55 points tonight. I know that we'll get to the details of all those things later, but it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that, just finding ways to win, and that's what championship teams do. And I thought it was especially impressive tonight because obviously look, the Pacers aren't the same Pacers that were in the finals team. They don't have Halliburton. Turner is gone. McConnell didn't play tonight. Nembhard went out at halftime with injury. So they weren't, fully themselves either, but that crowd wanted it. It was the home opener. It was the team that beat them in Game 7 of the finals. The team wanted it. They played hard. They made tough bucket after tough bucket in the fourth quarter, like hands in their face, falling away at the shot clock buzzer. So Indiana wanted it. That crowd wanted it. But the Thunder just found another way to win. Very impressive.
It was very impressive. And when you look at this Thunder team, we're going to talk about Shai's career night, but is the three-point shooting concerning to you? To me, it's kind of business as usual, because I always viewed this Thunder team as a streaky three-point shooting team, and you take away their most reliable three-point shooter in Isaiah Joe, and you take away a guy like J-Dub, who is one of their better three-point shooters. You take away a guy like Caruso, who you trusted the most in the playoffs to knock down jumpers, and Cason Wallace, who hits timely buckets. This team, for better or worse, is banking on the fact that they're a streaky bunch. And last year, they didn't get hot in the postseason. They were 13th out of 16 teams in three-point percentage. It's risky, I would say, to bank on that happening again to be sustainable. However, in terms of the overall product, I'm not too concerned, because eventually you'll see the streak go in the other direction. Whereas if you had a situation where they shot even just average, much less if they got hot, then you had these two games, let's say by Thanksgiving, it wouldn't be as big of a deal as it is to have it happen the first two nights out where you're ice cold on that streakiness scale. On top of that, remember, they're missing a lot of their three-point options.
I'm not worried about it. This is a 2-game small sample size. And like you said, the shooting is going to be streaky. It's going to be up and down. And they are missing some of their best shooters. They're missing some of their best spacers. But then also, like, guys who normally shoot really well. Like, look, through 2 full seasons, Jet 38% point shooter. Well, he didn't hit any threes tonight. It's been rough to start as far as like 3-point shooting tonight for Chet. He was 2 of 5 opening night. He was actually 2 big toes away from being 4 of 7 opening night. I'm not worried about Chet. He missed some threes tonight. Not worried about it. Lou Dort, not worried about him. He's proven to be a good 3-point shooter. He shot 40% from 3 last season. So no, I'm not worried about it. These guys have proven it over much bigger sample sizes. I'm also not worried about the defense for obvious reason. Like, the Thunder are not whole right now. I mean, yes, you can miss one guy. You can miss 2 guys. They're missing a lot of the rotation right now, and it's a lot of their top guys. So just the fact that they're finding ways to win against tough opponents in tough environments is impressive. You'll get the W and take it.
Yeah, you'll absolutely take the win. And I think that there's 2 different conversations to be had. Like, is it concerning? No, because this is what this team is and what this team is going to be. You mentioned Lou Dort being a 40% three-point shooter. That's true. Largely built on a big sample size of him being a high volume three-point shooter and catching fire for a couple months, having ice cold stretches for a couple weeks, and it all evens out in the end for Lou. You look at the playoffs, even where in that Denver series, in one game, he goes from having a horrendous shooting night to a great shooting night. So I say the Thunder are going to be who they were a year ago from 3. Now, the other conversation is that going to be good enough? Do they need to add somebody to rely on that you feel more comfortable with? That's a separate conversation. But as far as this team goes, especially down these guys, I still think that you can expect from them the three-point shooting that you saw a year ago. I don't think it'll be this bad the entire season. I think that this is just 2 bad shooting nights in a row, and largely because of the offensive process, which I think has been really good through 2 games despite messy box scores. We'll talk about that and SGA's career high and Wiggins and AJay Mitchell all coming up. But first, I want to tell you right now, my good friends over at Robinhood, go check out Robinhood today for sure, because, folks, your ambitions just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money by trading stocks, and you can also get opinions and futures and crypto, whatever you need. It's all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood's Legends advanced tools. So take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You can expect more from yourself. You can expect more from your money. You can start today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's robinhood.com/yourmoney, your money, your move. Go check that out today. Robinhood. Make sure you use them today. Also want to tell you right now about good friends over at DoorDash. Go check out DoorDash today because DoorDash is fantastic, especially if you're like Brandon and I. You're so busy throughout the NBA season with it heating up. DoorDash has found a way that is perfect to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for the highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite players, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA. They're celebrating something called the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with the Dash Pass the next day. You're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. Folks, SGA came through for you. He dropped over 50 points in this game. That drops DoorDash is 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day. Make sure you check them out today at DoorDash. They have you covered for the late night highlights, the last second watch parties, double overtime fuel ups, which you've need plenty of in OKC recently. How can you fall asleep after these double overtime games? Why not get something for a midnight snack at DoorDash? And if you stayed up a bit too late these last couple of game nights for OKC, lunch the next day, perfect for DoorDash. Go check them out today. So next time someone goes off for 50, promo code NBA50 the next day, get you 50% off on Dash Pass with DoorDash. Go check it out today. Plus, your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with a promo code. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashinYourBag.com for full details. That's DoorDashinYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash in your bag all season long. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day here, talking about the Thunder's double overtime win over the Indiana Pacers. SGA was into his bag. He dropped 55 points, a new career high from him. And what a night. I mean, his first quarter saw a change in his rotational pattern. He only played about 6 minutes in that opening quarter, but yet he had 10 points in the first quarter. Ultra aggressive. Got to the free throw line for 6 for 7 from the charity stripe. The next leading scorer in that first quarter was AJay Mitchell with 4 points. Like Shai's first quarter is what allowed you to stay within an arm's length of Indiana the entire way. We mentioned the largest lead, 7 for OKC, 5 for Indiana. Playing games that tight, eventually the best players and the best team rise up to the top. The Thunder did that tonight because you saw Shai have a great game overall. 11 points in the second quarter, and then 8 points in the third quarter. And then he labored his way to 11 in the final quarter. Some tough buckets, good defense by Indiana to force his efficiency to drop in that quarter, and some tough missed shots, but 11 points overall in that quarter. And then 15 points combined in the two overtimes to get to that 55 number for SGA. Brandon, the body control was unbelievable from him, and you cannot take it for granted. Just the difficulty of the shots that he's making. The baseline jumpers are beautiful. I mean, he's able to fling both his legs up into the air like he's swinging on a swing, pumping his legs for a swing set, and knock down a mid-range jumper. I think that some people question his shot selection late in this game. For example, the off-balance three at the end. But that's a shot that he's comfortable with. And Mark talks about this a lot, of finding what's good shots for you versus good shots in the grand scheme of basketball. I have a hard time going both ways, because had he hit that shot like he did against New Orleans a couple of years ago, if it goes in, we start singing his praises. If it doesn't, we call it a bad shot. So for Shai, that's a shot that he's comfortable with. You can argue that he could have gotten into the action earlier and found the even better shot, but that's a shot he's comfortable with. He shot 48% from the floor overall on 31 shots. Think about that, how efficient that is on 31 shots to make almost half of them. Free throw line, he went 23 for 26. 3 free throws missed in a double overtime game. It's always going to be heightened even more, but 23 for 26 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block, and just 2 turnovers despite the high usage. 55 points and a +9 in this game. Brandon, what's left to say about the MVP?
Incredible game from Shai. I think what happened was Ryland. Last year, he won pretty much every award you could get, except he couldn't qualify for Clutch Player of the Year because they didn't have enough close games. So I think they decided, hey, I'm going to win Clutch Player of the Year this year. Let's go into double overtime every game. I'll drop 35. I'll drop 55. Shai's just unbelievable because he hits these timely buckets. Like when the Thunder need a bucket, you can just have a guy go out there. They can throw 2 at him. They can trap him. They can throw whatever defense they want at him. Shai's playing also with a bunch of guys that are kind of new to him. You know, Dub's out right now. Caruso's out. Wallace is out. Isaiah Joe is out. He played minutes with Brooks Barnhizer. He played with Chris Youngblood. He's playing minutes, heavy minutes with AJay Mitchell. These are like kind of new rotations and lineups that he's working with on the road in a hostile environment. Defense is throwing everything at him, and he just goes and gets buckets. He just does it. And sometimes he'll get to the line because the defense can't stop him. They're playing really, really physically on him. And the only way you can really stop him is by fouling him. He just goes and gets buckets. 55 tonight, just unbelievable.
And that's the bind that he puts defenses in, man. Like, okay, you have 2 options, really. Be super aggressive, meaning both your body positioning of playing up tight on him and your physicality level of hand checking him and getting into his body that way. And he's either going to get by you if you're too close pressed up on him, or he's going to get the foul call if you're too physical with him. Your other option would be play softer on him, but guess what? That's exactly what he wants because he can knock down these mid-range jumpers all over the court. So you have literally no choice but to foul him. And by fouling him, that's not a bad thing because we've seen it work both ways where there gets to a point where if you're a defense playing Shai, you've got to, and this is what is hard to do for a 48-minute game, you've got to literally play 90s basketball against him defensively and try not to foul out and hope that you foul him so much that they just can't call every foul. Like they just can't call everything a foul because you've set a tone. The Thunder do this too defensively. Yes, the Thunder a year ago were penalized for fouls more than any other team, but they also didn't get called for every single foul because they set a tone of we're going to play this physically. Now the difference here is the Thunder have so many bodies that if guys get into foul trouble, it doesn't really matter because they're able to manage it the best out of anyone in the league because of that depth. Whereas if you are guarding Shai, you only have 1 guy per roster, if that you feel comfortable as a point of attack defender on Shai. So you cannot exert any of these fouls early and often. It puts you in a bind because of how brilliant that Shai is. And it just makes him so hard to guard. And he's proven that over the course of the last couple of seasons and winning MVP last year, leading the league in scoring last year. And he's off to a great start again. Once again, there's these stats from the first 2 games that can only be compared to Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain and guys of this nature. This is just what Shai does. He's in that same vein. But I want to talk about AJay Mitchell. Brandon, if you remember our bold predictions and our season previews, we talked about, okay, who's the guy that we're just talking Shai. He was great. Okay, let's talk about somebody else. We said it was going to be AJay Mitchell, and it is. AJay Mitchell, he's top 8 in this rotation, folks. Like, this is a bold prediction from me that has came true. He's a top 8 player on this roster, and that's saying a lot because this roster is so talent-rich, but he's a top 8 player in this roster. He's so aggressive getting downhill. Take, for example, the and one to tie the game. That is all offensive force and aggression that just cannot be taught into guys. You either have that innate confidence, that innate ability to understand that, you know what, the defense isn't set here in the half court. I'm not going to wait around for our offense to get set. I'm not going to wait around for someone else to do it. I'm just going to go into the trees. I'm just going to go into the paint and make something happen and live with the results, either a blown layup or a layup with too much contact that you miss, or in this case, an and one that you make it. That takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of stones to do that and onions to do that in this setting as a second-year player who is playing next to the MVP of this league, who is playing it down the stretch in a hostile environment with the game on the line. And he went and delivered with a smart basketball play, which he continues to always put himself in the correct spots, with an efficient basketball play, with hard-nosed drives, getting to the free throw line and producing points to tie this game. And his 26 points, it goes without saying. Like, you cannot win this 2 overtime game without AJay Mitchell. The 26 points were irreplaceable on this offense. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. He was a plus 12 in this contest, both a team high and a game high in the box score plus minus. And so he plays so well, whether it's on the ball or off the ball. He really helps that secondary unit. And what's been hard, I think, for some people to digest, Brandon, is that AJay Mitchell gets better when you have Jalen Williams. Like, look at the gravity that Shai allowed him to shake loose with the defense because of how much that Shai commands attention. In these bench lineups, J-Dub commands that attention off of AJay Mitchell, and he has that every minute he plays in the game. AJ does. So I'm very impressed with where AJay Mitchell is at.
I think the biggest compliment you could give AJay Mitchell is that the MVP of the league just had a career high 55 points, an incredible game. And yet the major talking point for a lot of Thunder fans after this game is AJay Mitchell because of how he looked. You could make the argument, and I think it's a valid argument, that the Thunder would be 0-2 right now if it wasn't for AJay Mitchell's play through the first 2 games. He had 26 tonight. Like you said, they do not win this game tonight, absolutely, without AJay Mitchell. I don't know if they win against the Rockets without AJay Mitchell and his 16 points and the impact he had in that game as well. When you look at AJay Mitchell, it's like he does everything well. He can shoot, he can drive, he can play make. We've seen that he can create his own shot. He can create for others. He's another ball handler off the bench for the Thunder, just like an embarrassment of riches that the Thunder have an AJay Mitchell on the bench. I agree with you. He's a top 8 player in this rotation. So impressed with AJay Mitchell. I do think he's going to be the breakout player of the year for the Thunder this year. He's averaging 21 points per game through 2 games. And I agree, he's going to be even better when J-Dub comes back. And the Thunder can use that third ball handler. You can always have 2 ball handlers on the floor all times now. However you stagger the rotations, you can always have 2 of Shai, Dub, or AJay on the court. Or maybe all 3.
Maybe all 3. It's a lineup that literally could work. You could absolutely run a lineup, especially whenever this team is whole, of like Shai, AJay, J-Dub, and then the double big lineup. And that would be something I'd really be interested in Mark doing once this team is complete. But I would agree with you. They do not win either of these games without AJay Mitchell, because what was the secret recipe of success against Houston? Yes, we both agree AJay should have played more down the stretch. I'm not going to fault Mark too much, though, for trusting in guys like Kaysen, guys like Caruso, guys like Lou, who have had literally championship pedigree now with this organization. However, if you don't have that first half, those 16 points and that 4-point play at the buzzer from AJay Mitchell, it gets back to our original point on today's show, which was the same point we made on Tuesday's show. The gap of the game, the deficit becomes too wide to overcome. Because you look in that game, Shai didn't get going until the fourth quarter. And because in the fourth quarter, you got it to a 5-point game for Shai to come back into, it was still within striking distance for once Shai got there. And you're not still within striking distance if you don't have the offensive production from AJay Mitchell in that first half, from Chet Holmgren in that first quarter and first half. And so it all ties together. This is a 48-minute game, and every minute does add up to the end result that you end up seeing. And so tonight, it was Shai who was the consistent offense, but AJay Mitchell was right there, and so was Aaron Wiggins, who had timely buckets. Chet Holmgren, a forgettable night. We'll talk about that and the Thunder's offensive production all coming up. But first, I want to say right now, my good friends over at Rougit. Folks, Rougit is there for you. Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything. You've heard them all before. It's just stress. I'm tired. It happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs an extra support. And that's where Rougit comes in. Rougit.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED, designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rougit makes it simple to get started because you're connected with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments. It's prescribed, your treatment shipped directly right to your door. So the process is fast, simple, and private. That's the most important part. It's all handled by real doctors still, but there's no awkwardness of having to do it in person, of having to do it in a waiting room, having to go pick up a prescription. It gets shipped discreetly straight to your door. It's about confidence. It's about connection. It's about getting back to the moments that matter most. Brandon, you have a very big date night on Saturday night while I'm watching Hawks Thunder. Visit Rougit.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNBA. Do not forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rougit, stop making excuses and start making those moves. Also want to say right now, my good friends over at FanDuel, go check out FanDuel today because FanDuel is incredible, folks. FanDuel is there for you as the NFL season is here and in full swing. So is the NBA season. FanDuel has offers you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Go check them out today because it makes watching football more exciting. The national TV schedule, if maybe you're a more casual football fan and your favorite team's not playing on national TV, but you still want to watch Sunday Night Football, sprinkle some shekels down at FanDuel. Your first $5 get you $300 if it hits in bonus bets to use across the app. So you can also use this in the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com today to get started and download the FanDuel app as well. The NBA heating up on a Friday. No Thunder games, but again, if you still want to be engaged in tonight's slate, you have Orlando, 5-point favorites at home over the Atlanta Hawks. Go check that out today at FanDuel.com. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day. Brandon Rahbar joining us to recap this game against the Indiana Pacers. Aaron Wiggins, the spot starter tonight, down J-Dub, Kaysen, and Caruso. He filled the role of a guy who needed to hit timely shots. The offense was stalling, and he was the one that let you take a breath of fresh air whenever his shots would go in. He's the third best shot creator on this team. He lived up to that tagline today. He has some wild finishes where you can, fall through the lane like a third down running back stumbling for a couple yards and then just throw the ball up and have it go in. He's so confident in the catch and shoot threes that he's able to generate, and there's no hesitation in them whatsoever. Think of how many guys hesitated tonight from beyond the arc. That, yes, it was a bad three-point shooting night from this team, but man, you've got to let it fly, because all the hesitation does is let the defense get to you, get a contest off, and make the shot even worse and give yourself even a lower percentage chance to hit these threes. He generates contact at the rim. He's able to bump guys off their spot and finish. I liked what you saw from Aaron Wiggins with the 23 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block, and 5 for 9 from 3. And again, that's big when a team cannot connect from 3. He and Shai were the only ones to hit multiple threes in this game. And I'd ask you this, Brandon. Remember that play where the ball gets deflected into the backcourt, Wiggins goes and corrals it and then dribbles into a 3? Who else on this roster can do that? Like, who else on this roster do you trust to go do that, especially tonight? Those kind of plays are big ones as he shot 50% from the floor.
Once again, just like we talked about with AJay Mitchell, the fact that the Thunder have Aaron Wiggins off the bench when they're down so many key players on the road in a hostile environment, and he just comes in and calmly puts up 23 points. He has half of the Thunder's three-pointers tonight. He was 5 of 9 from 3, like you said. The Thunder only hit 10 threes tonight, so he had half of them. The rest of the team was 5 of 26. He was 5 of 9. And the two most important, he hit 2 in double overtime, and I really think you could argue that those 2 threes from Aaron Wiggins in double OT kind of iced the game. Like, that's what kind of like put the game away. I feel like, yes, there were some more buckets down the stretch, but if it wasn't for those 2 Aaron Wiggins double overtime threes, again, I don't know if the Thunder walk away with a win.
Wiggins was awesome tonight, and Chet Holmgren had a forgettable night in the box score. And let's break down Chet's night. He missed some clean ones. Like he also had some fancy footwork finishes. That was good, like the one in transition off of a steal. But he wasn't moving as crisp as he was on opening night. Let's be honest. This is a lot of basketball to play, though, right out of the gate. And a lot of weight to put on him offensively right out of the gate, because you think of how many of these shots are taken away by J-Dub. Like whenever Jib's on the floor, taken away in a positive way of like, Chet doesn't need to be more creative with the ball. Chet doesn't need to process more stuff when he's alongside Chet. It's more catch and shoot heavy. And I will say, even with Chet tonight, the catch and shoot stuff, he was one of the guys that was hesitating away 3-point opportunities. And I'd love to see him break out of that mold of being a hesitation guy, because he's that good of a player. Yes, you didn't shoot the ball well tonight, 0 for 6 from 3, and it's not been going your way from beyond the arc in this game. But you're the type of player who can flip the switch. You're the type of player who can shoot his way out of it. So just trust in your shot, trust in your work, and launch these threes, because he ends up taking them anyway. And again, it just lets the defense reset. I will say, like, tonight, the box score is messier than it should have been. And this is by and large what's happened to the Thunder offense so far through 2 games. But you look at the shots that he missed tonight, largely were shots that went on Tuesday night, and we had a party in the streets because they went in. He didn't hit them tonight. You know, he was working off of a small sample size through these 2 games to where we're overreacting as the pendulum swings back and forth. The truth is often somewhere in the middle. For example, tonight, he has a brilliant job in the second quarter of attacking off the catch at the top of the key, getting into the nail, spinning for the mid-range jumper, and the mid-range jumper rattles out. Hits every part of the rim, does not go in. That's a shot that fell for him on Tuesday. That's a shot that got us really out of our seats and using our subscription services for Tuesday night with that bucket from Chet Holmgren. It didn't fall tonight. The one thing I will note in a positive way for Chet's night, that lob connection with iHeart is really starting to develop. You saw it Friday when they both threw lobs to each other in the preseason finale. You saw it Tuesday and you saw it tonight. And why is that so important, Brandon? Look at how it happened. It's iHeart in the pick and roll coming off of a short roll. iHeart gets the ball and lobs up a lob to Chet Holmgren in the dunker spot. Well, on the short roll, Isaiah Hartenstein is sucking up defenders to leave Chet at the dunker spot to come contest iHeart because iHeart's so brilliant at out of that short roll hitting that floater. And so that's leaving Chet Holmgren on the backside of the play wide open, and iHeart is a talented enough passer to lob him that basketball. So what happens once this trend continues to mature and defenses continue to pick up on it, and now they're staying home with Chet Holmgren? Well, now you open yourself up to having iHeart having more open floaters, his most efficient shot, and generating points for iHeart. So either way, this is an opportunity to generate buckets for OKC in the half court, something that has been few and far between a year ago to today. 15 points for Chet, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 0 for 6 from 3, and just 33% from the floor. Overall, not a great night in the box score from Chet Holmgren, and I think he can be much better and will be much better. But what do you think of Chet's night overall?
Yeah, I think the loud part of it is the 3-point shooting, the 0 for 6 from 3. But if you take that away, because like you said, again, as we discussed earlier, Chet is a 38% career 3-point shooter. He's shot well in college. Like, I am not concerned whatsoever about Chet shooting. Again, he was 2 big toes away from being 4 of 7 the other night on opening night from 3. You take those away, he's 4 of 6 from the field, and he had 15 and 12. He had 2 steals, 2 assists. So, yeah, it was kind of an up and down night. But, again, he did hesitate on a lot of threes. He almost, like, double clutched. He, like, pump faked and put it up. And like, as you know, in pickup ball, you just shoot the thing. You don't think, you just shoot the shot. Anyways, I do think that he had a big bucket. There's about 45 seconds or so left in double overtime. He got an offensive rebound, tried to put it back, got his own rebound again, I believe, and then put it back. That was a big bucket. That put the Thunder up by 6 with about 45 seconds to go, and it kind of changed the dynamic of the final few moments of the game. So I think that was a big timely bucket. And again, 15 and 12, a couple of steals. It was just the missed 3-pointers tonight that I think were loud and that had people, if there's any concern about his night tonight, it was just missing some threes. I'm not worried about those.
Yeah, I would not be worried about that at all. And let's talk about the Thunder's overall offensive output through these first 2 games. I really think that this offense has had way better processing than they're getting credit for, and it's been popping. Their playmaking ability to generate quality shots has been popping in a positive way, better than what they were a year ago as NBA champions, better than they were in the playoffs when this half-court offense had some question marks in the Denver series and in this Indiana series. They need to clean up the turnovers. This is 2 games where they've had more turnovers than you're used to having them see, and then they've missed some free throws that you're not used to seeing them miss. But the shots are going in and out. The shots are kind of the streakiness of this team. It's not as though these shots are bad shots that they're missing or they're just chucking up threes that they keep missing. Like, they're generating quality looks. I think of this play from Jay Will, who has a great play off of the short roll, off of a pick and roll with SGA. And he launches the skip pass over to Lou Dort. Lou Dort is a wide open catch and shoot, 3-point loaded up, misses it. And so I think that whenever you look at, he might have made that one, but you look at the plays like that where they're generating these open looks. Casey Wallace had one with a wraparound pass from underneath the basket on Tuesday, generates a wide open Lou Dort 3. It misses. Like, these shots are going to start to fall. Then these playmaking opportunities are going to start to get on highlight reels. Then people are going to start to realize, hey, this Thunder team's figured some things out of how to generate offense. So they're generating offenses at a higher clip is the whole point of this segment. And they're doing so without their all NBA swingman, who's their second option as a scorer and their second offensive juggernaut next to SGA. So whenever you see him return, when you see Isaiah Joe, who's the only sharpshooter on this roster, and you see Caruso return, who Caruso was the player you trusted the most in the playoffs. The playoffs in which you shot 13th of 16th in the NBA from three-point land. Caruso, you trusted him and returned the ball off his hands to knock it down. Kaysen hits timely buckets. Like, the other guys have done just enough to get 2-0, but they're going to look even better once these pieces are back and once these shots start to fall.
Well, and so much of the defense is dialed in right now on Shai without Jade up there. When you don't have your second all-star, all-NBA guy, second best scorer, second best playmaker, Shai's going to be able to breathe a lot easier with Jada back in the lineup. And then you add Caruso back, and you add Wallace back, and you add Isaiah Joe back. The spacing, the shooting, like, the offense is easier and it flows better. So again, I'm not concerned. It's all about the process, and the process through 2 games has been right on. They're generating the right shots, and there's going to be positive regression with good 3-point shooters as we go along through this season. Ultimately, you come away with 2 wins against 2 really tough teams without a lot of your best players, and you're not shooting the threes at the clip that you want to shoot them at. You got to take the 2-0 and be pretty happy about it. The process is the right thing.
Yeah, and they're spot on, I think, with their offensive processing. But Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today to recap this game. Up next, we have our Saturday recap of the Atlanta Hawks contest. For you audio listeners, do not be alarmed. We are uploading Thursday's live stream on Friday afternoon, so some of the stuff that we talk about will be as relating to this game, having not seen it yet, but still want to get that live stream uploaded on the podcast feed for you. Now, heading next week, after the Saturday recap of the Hawks, Monday, we're going to recap the first week of the NBA with Justin Martinez of the Oklahoman. Tuesday, we're going to recap that Mavericks game. Wednesday, recap that Kings game, the first back-to-back of the year. Thursday, we're going to be talking about what the Thunder can improve on, what the Thunder have been very good at through a week and a half of the season with Michael Martin. Friday, we're going to have a Wizards recap for you. And then every Monday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, a Lockdown Thunder hour-long live stream with Derek Parker that you can look forward to. Go check out BrandonDailyThunder.com. Thunder Roundtable, 107.7 The Franchise, and check us both out at OKC Dream Team. Until next time, be good and be good to one another.